So a year and a half ago, we started a creative division of our ministry here at Bell Shoals, which is vitally important to me because our culture, our society thrives with stories.
Pastor Corey approached my wife Brittany and I to come and help build the creative department here at Bell Shoals. And around that same time, we actually planned a trip to Costa Rica. It was great timing in the sense we were able to get away and have some quiet time to think about what God wanted for our lives and how He could use us in building His church.
It was very clear early on that God was starting to lay something onto our hearts and illustrate this beautiful story through creation while we were there, and it was overwhelming.
Our brand and how we choose to market our ministry matters greatly because we want our people to have a unified vision for who we are and why we exist in the world.
When we were in Costa Rica, we were actually having some surf lessons out in the ocean. And while we were out there, we had this instructor who was telling us all about waves as he was teaching us how to surf. And he was talking about how the waves don't start at the shore. And the waves themselves aren't water, it's this energy that's below the surface.
And we're hearing all these stories about you are in line with the power of the wave and then what that feels like to catch the wave and to ride it. And not of your own, power, but you feel this power that's underneath you. There's nothing like it.
And I was talking to Brittany, I'm like, that guy doesn't realize it, but he's more than a surf instructor. That guy is preaching the gospel, and he is talking about the church.
The church, just like a wave, is the visible representation of the power of God in the world. And what we believe here at Bell Shoals is like the power encapsulated in that crashing wave, God has been working through His Holy Spirit for 2,000 years now through the ministry of the church to accomplish His plans and His purposes in the world.
The goal of the creative department is really simple, is to effectively communicate the gospel. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding sometimes. Our goal isn't to creatively communicate the gospel, even though we're the creative department. We do creative things to become more effective. But the objective isn't to be creative, the objective is to be effective.
We spent a lot of time moving through the rebranding process, not working on graphics and images and ideas for a mark or a logo. We spent a lot of time talking about who are we as a church and what is this next season of ministry going to look like for us.
We really had a main focus of wanting to communicate the movement of the church, and not just Bell Shoals, but the church as one church, all of us, everyone collectively, and what God is doing through all of us.
When we landed on the wave, as a part of the branding process to have an actual mark or a logo, that wave is symbolic of what we are a part of and what we're trying to accomplish.
When we started experimenting with colors, we really liked the idea of staying with blue. It's a traditional color for Bell Shoals, but it also represents the deepness of the ocean. And so it was just a constant reminder of this deep ocean blue, this deep power that's always there, that God is always building His church, and He's gonna do it with or without us. And it's just up to us if we're gonna jump on board and participate and be a part of it.
And so our brand mark, all that we market and push in terms of the quality of our ministry and of our creative efforts, all of that's designed to communicate we are a people who are part of a mission and a movement that is changing the world, and we're very, very excited about that.
You see that cup hanging right there? We're going to leave it.
Okay, that's good.
That's where the TV's going.
Okay, we actually ordered the screens last night. So
we tell stories using film, we use design, we use visual spaces. Everything that we do helps communicate.
So one of the big projects that we worked on this year was the renovation at our Brandon campus. And that was a big undertaking. And we started with the kids building and the student building.
You walk through these hallways, you see that, man, we are a faith family that cares very much for what the Lord's entrusted to us. And then you see that we're going to use that space strategically. And that's something that we're going to carry through to every single campus we have.
We wanted it to be fun and bright and colorful, but clean, and something that was going to last, over the years.
Well, what you find is vision. And it's a collaborative vision. It's a vision that involves our family ministry team. It's a vision that's supported by our admin team. It's a vision that was brought through the design phase by our creative team and ultimately implemented and installed by our facilities team.
One of my favorite features of that room are the sound panels that go around the space on the walls. Those were made by Sam Allen from Apollo Beach and Jonathan Willis from our Brandon campus, and they made those by hand, and they're just the shape of a wave, and we use the different colors from some of our kids' branding. It's really a collaborative effort. There are so many people that go into all these projects that you walk down the hall and you think this person did that and this person did that, and that's such a cool feeling.
Unique challenges create unique opportunities. And we see that going all the way back to the days of the early church, where it was either persecution, some type of unique hardship, but out of those difficult circumstances arose unique opportunities.
One of my absolute favorite things that we were able to do this year was to create our first original film, Nothing Wasted. And this really just came out of the fact that we weren't able to do all the normal things this past year for Christmas.
One of the things I'm most excited about with Nothing Wasted is how it has been received, not just by our immediate community, but by people across the country and even around the world.
It was a great start for what we want to do as a department, as a church, which is tell extremely authentic stories that connect with others so that they can see the life-changing truth of the gospel.
It gave us an opportunity to share that story and share a clear gospel presentation of hope during a season where people needed to see it, and it was able to be online, on YouTube, on social media, where they could share it and it could be experienced in a different way.
And we've heard from people who have been deeply impacted by the film. We've had the opportunity to counsel with people who've been impacted by the film. And then recently, the film was nominated for some Christian filmmaker awards. It was just evidence of how far-reaching the film has become.
Welcome to the 8th Annual Christian Worldview Film Festival Awards Ceremony.
The runner-up for Best Short Documentary.
And this year, the Honor Your Father Award winner
is Nothing Wasted.
to Nothing Wasted.
Many of those films are produced by production companies, but our church, the local church, Bell Shoals Church, was the only church that was nominated for an award.
I'd like to thank the people of Bell Shoals Church in Tampa, Florida. He made this film possible.
And not only were we nominated for an award, we were actually the most awarded documentary film of the entire festival.
When we are willing to be vulnerable and to share our story with others, then that's how we can show God to other people and how we can connect on a totally different level.
I'm just excited for our creative team, our worship team, who worked so hard on this film and did so much in such an incredibly short period of time. And we wrote all of the underscore, all of the music in that film. All of the filmmaking elements were brought to the table by our team. Of course, you have our own Bruce Roberts and his family, who showed tremendous courage and transparency to bring their story to the world.
And our goal as a creative team and as a church isn't to seek recognition, but it is actually to recognize what God is doing in us and for us. And these stories and these projects often reflect what God is doing, and that's really what we're after.
And I'm very excited about the future and seeing future projects like this and even greater projects, because no doubt the Lord will use our efforts to reach not just West Central Florida, but literally people all around the world through these creative efforts.